Take my hand, no hesitating. When you're just so tired of trying, all alone you feel like hiding. Together we'll keep fighting. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't stop now. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna mountains too high we can climb it. Feel this, we're taking the moment. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Can you see the sun is shining like a new hope? Feel it rising, coming over the horizon. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't stop now. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna mountains too high we can climb it. Feel this, we're taking the moment. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. There's no stopping.
Hello. Happy Memorial Day weekend. It's kind of gloomy and dark out. Beautiful weekend last week, right? And Sunday was like 92 degrees. But, just want to get a little bit more light on myself here. We needed the rain, and now we got the rain. Unfortunately, it happened on the Saturday, but hopefully by Monday it's going to be nice. The week coming up is going to be really nice. The pool's opening up. I wanted to take my grandson to the pool today. As soon as we got there, the skies opened up, and it was just we couldn't do it. So. Hoping we could get there by Monday. It's supposed to be cloudy and cool tomorrow, but it's going to be sunny and warming up on Monday. So I hope your weekend is good. We're going to talk about and show a tribute to Memorial Day weekend, the true meaning of this weekend, and how we should remember the purpose of this weekend, and we'll have that towards the end of the show. But last week we had a wonderful episode with Rachel Kane of Tidewater Mortgage, and I hope you saw it and received really good information on that. It's on my blog site. You go under Broadcast Live, and you will see all the. Let me see if I have the caption up here on that one. I got to put that back up there. But if you go to Real Estate with Mr. G.blog, and then you click on Broadcast Live, you'll see where this show is going live. 7 p.m. on Saturday, and what I do, I repeat that performance the next Saturday at 10 a.m. Okay, there are people who are they like their Saturday mornings to watch the show. There's some people who get out early and they'll be back home around 7 and they'll watch a show then. So I try to reach everybody that way. But you could always see it again on my blog site, and I actually have all the shows. Probably I have the 10 most recent, but then there's a link you could click on, brings you to YouTube, and you'll have everything there from when I started to do these magnificent podcasts. Okay. So, but that was a good one. And the week before that, we had Ace Abalana from Rocket Title. And we talked about what's involved with the closing process. So it's been very good. I'm going to have both of them back on again with updates, whether it's to the industry, whether it's to the programs that they're offering. I'm going to do my best to find a home inspector who would like to go online with me, and just to go over what's the purpose of the home inspection, and there's a lot of good information on that, and just to make one little note, the purpose of the home inspection is not always to find out what's wrong with the house, but actually what's good for what's good with the house as well. And they give you like maintenance ideas, like just say, just keep on top of this one issue here. It doesn't have to be fixed right now, but just keep an eye out on it. So it's very important to have a home inspection. And even now, with the type of market we're having, where there are multiple bids on one property, and a lot of people are foregoing the home inspection, so the seller will accept that offer, even if it's not the highest, right? Because if you're selling a property, you have one that's a little bit more money, but this other one is not asking for a home inspection. So you know they're not going to come after you afterwards. Well, after they have the home inspection, say, okay, I want this repaired, and we'll look at another $3,000 to maybe $5,000, and you don't want to deal with that. All right. So it looks good for the seller, but I do not recommend that. Even with this competitive market, you need to know what's wrong with the house. You want to make sure you don't buy a lemon. If you got lots and lots and lots of money, and you find out that the HVAC system is on its last legs, and you have $10,000 to replace the whole thing, maybe you don't have to worry about it. Okay, you have another, $10,000 for a new roof. Maybe you don't have to worry about it. Okay, but I always recommend it that you have that home inspection. All right, so with that, we already talked a lot. Let's have my little intro, and we'll get into today's topics. Okay, so we're going to talk about today, where do experts say the housing market is heading? Okay, and let me change my captions here. Okay. The first thing, and I'm going to show you the report that was on my blog, and we'll confer back and forth, but I'm going to talk a little bit about what I have read, and I want to give you, both sides of the situation where, Some posts, some articles are always like very, very positive, but they're not giving you the full picture. Okay. Now, what I've read and what I believe is that more homes will now go on the market because the amounts of COVID-19 is going down. We're getting less infections. One of the biggest reasons why we have these bidding wars and home prices going up is because many people, since last year, since the beginning of this pandemic, going back to really, we began to find out about in December and then January of 2020, people who had homes that they still occupied had fears that, when people begin looking through the house, potential buyers come in, they may bring the COVID-19 into their homes. So they had a lot of fears about that. So they said, okay, I'm gonna hold off, okay, and hold on to my house. So that kept pretty much a lower inventory. I mean, there are some people who already left their house and it's empty, and they have no concerns. If people walk through, they're not living there, they're not going to get infected. But for that segment of the selling population where they still occupy the house, that brought on a lot of concerns. So they wanted to wait until things got better, and things are getting better, knock on wood. All right. We still have a bit to go. I know with summer coming and the warm weather and people going to beaches, and now the restaurants are opening up, the bars are opening up, and we feel we're out of it. We're not 100% out of it. We still have to get vaccinated for those who have not, all right, to make sure that we've put a stop to this. So as sellers feel more confident that it's going down, the amount of people with COVID infections, they will begin putting more of their homes, and other sellers will put their homes on the market. That's my belief, and that's a belief of many other real estate experts. Okay, so I feel that would happen. Now, once that happens, home prices will begin to stabilize. I'm not saying they'll go back down, okay? I'm going to say they're going to stop at one point. They're not going any higher. Because now, as more homes then enter the market, okay, trying to get my hands even here, we'll have more inventory, and people will have more choices, okay? Remember, it's a very basic economic principle. Okay, when demand is high and inventory is low, the prices for those products or services goes up, okay? And that's what we're having right now. But once more homes enter the market, this current increase in prices will stop. They would only go down, like some people say will go down. It would only go down if we have a problem with the economy. And I don't think we're going to have a problem with the economy, okay? Because basically, companies are now rehiring, and people are going back to work. Not everybody's going back to work. That's another situation. But the economy is going strong. Now, can something else happen in a year from now? Yes, of course. All right. Anything is possible. We're going on, you're looking at your options, what's going on here. But at this point, the economy is going to go strong. Now, if people don't go back to work, I mean, once their unemployment benefits run out, they have no other choice than to go back to work. Okay? We're at this point now of change where people looking in, well, why aren't they going back to work? Well, some people are saying, well, they're lazy, they're getting more money. when they're at home and getting the extra $300 above their unemployment check. Okay, but there are other reasons. There's other reasons like the cost of daycare is too high. All right, and they can't pay for daycare. You know, with what you know. But basically, once they go back to work, they have to pay for daycare. They're not paying for daycare right now, so it's more of a affordable situation that they could stay home and take care of their children, which is fine. Okay, I understand that. All right. But once they go back, I mean, once they lose the benefits, they have no other choice, I imagine. If there's a way they could still stay home, I don't know. But there's more concern now, and this is a good thing, I have to say, because there's always that debate whether or not to have a minimum wage. And some people say, well, you know, let the market demand the hourly pay for workers. So a lot of companies now where, you know, mostly restaurants, the service industry, they're are giving them bonuses and paying them $15, $16 an hour, which, you know, many people are trying to get the minimum wage up to $15 an hour. Well, there's some companies that are already paying for that. And a lot of the hospitality workers who got cut back from their jobs, they've been furloughed, are now working at factories. And they're making good money, and they're getting health insurance, and they're being care of. So once they do that, they're not going to go back to making $7.50 an hour and hopefully getting a good tip. All right, so there's going to be some sort of, you know, whether you agree with me or disagree with me, we're coming through to some change right now. There's going to be some change going on based upon a lot on paying your employees, all right? And I'm not going to go any further with that because people get very touchy with setting a minimum wage or not setting a minimum wage, but something, you know, it's like, you know, it's reaching critical mass, okay? It's getting larger and larger. It's like when the new star is being born, you know, it reaches critical mass and then it explodes. And I think that's what's going to happen, probably more so by September, okay? It may happen before that. But we're going into a situation where I believe that we have to pay these workers more money, okay? I mean, remember when the pandemic first started and, you know, we had to still go out and buy food. Who was out there? The people who were working in the grocery stores, the cashier clerks, the ones who are putting out the produce. And all of a sudden they became the frontline workers, and we realized how important their jobs were. So do we still want to pay them $7.50 an hour or $7.25 an hour? Or are they more important? Okay. I personally think they are. All right. If you want to leave a comment or whatever, but all that I'm saying that there's a big change coming along. Okay. But going back to what I was saying is that I believe that that more people will put their houses on the market. It's going to stabilize prices. It may not necessarily bring them down. Okay. I don't want to say that because we expect that, but I think it'll be a point where prices will not go up higher. So I have buyers who are frustrated with the market because they see how crazy it is, and they say the prices are insane. Okay. I don't think it's going to go down. Now, there are people who are paying higher than the purchase price, and they're even putting in guarantees in the contract that they will pay over the appraisal price. Even, you know, in case, let's say a house is selling for $200,000, the appraisal comes out $190,000. They're saying, I will pay that difference. So that's what's happening right now. but the appraisers are being very good because they're not going up to those super duper high prices. They're going by historical comps and pricing it there. And they're smart by doing that because they could really mess up the market, by pricing it high. Now, what happens though afterwards? That house that had the market value or the appraised value of 190, the buyer pays that $10,000 more to meet the $200,000 asking price. Well, once that deal closes, that house becomes a comp now. All right. So the next seller that comes up to put their house on the market and they live by this house that just sold, and it's the same amount of bedrooms and baths and the square footage is pretty close, that becomes a comp, and now they've raised it up higher. So in the situation, it does affect the market a lot. Now, with some mortgage brokers that I spoke to, they had big concerns about that. And so I remember I told you I'm going to give you both sides of the story. What happens, even if something doesn't happen, well, it would have to be something that would happen bad in the economy where people could no longer pay their mortgage. Okay, let's say something happens in the year where the economy just goes rock bottom and people are out of work. Now people who have this home and they paid, well, they came out of pocket for the money, but it's very possible with this appreciated price. Remember the house that sold at $200,000, which had an appraised value of $190,000, that becomes the comp. So the next person that comes in and lists their house, it's going to be at this higher price. So what happens if the economy goes bad and people lose their jobs and they can't pay the mortgage now on this more expensive house? Do we go back to 2007? Okay. I don't think it will be as bad as 2007. Okay. Loan officers that I've spoken to have concerns about it, that we may have a situation where we would have more foreclosures and short sales. It may or may not happen. It's a big, it could go either way. I'm praying that the economy goes strong and keeps on going strong, and I believe it will, that this will not happen. But there's a chance. Even with this was written months at the earlier part of the pandemic, when people who have homes that they rent out, they're investors. So they have a house they purchased that they're renting out. It could be, and we're going to talk about this, going to be a video on that too. It's their second home. It could be a vacation home they're renting out, or it's a home that they purchase for a regular long-term rental, not like an A and B, or just like during the summertime, a summertime rental. And when the renters in their homes were able to be protected by the government, there was a moratorium on evicting people. For the longest time, these owners, these investors hadn't had income coming in, or was a reduced income. Now, if they paid their house in cash and they had no mortgage, it's not as much as a problem. But if they had to take that money from the renter and then pay their mortgage, now we have a problem, okay? So there was always thought that if there was going to be foreclosed homes on the market, let's say in 2021, going into 2022, they would be actually more from the investment sector, okay? Because they had problems making their mortgage payments. That may happen, okay? A lot of these moratoriums, the delays on foreclosures and delays on evictions have been extended, and I think they're going to expire soon. One broker said it's going to be like next month. I thought it was going to be September, but it may be sooner. And the ones who hold the mortgages have all these back payments to make, and the ones who are renters have to catch up on their renting. Now, as for the mortgages, they might just put that payments that were missed and just put it on the back end of the mortgage. That could be a possibility with some companies. All right. Some mortgage companies who may ask for additional payments to get caught up, that might be a problem for some people. So it seems like the more I'm talking, there's more, chances of this unpredictability in the market. All right. Again, I keep on bringing up that the economy is strong and we should be okay, but there might be issues. Okay, I'm telling you what could happen. All right, and what else do we expect in this year? We expect mortgage rates to increase. Okay, and probably up to around 3.5, 3.6%, which is still pretty good. Now, will that affect the housing market? It should, because that might bring the amount of buyers in the market down a bit. So now there's less competition for the house that's being sold. The house may be longer on the market. It's very possible that it won't have multiple offers on it. Okay, that's a possibility. I'm going to mention here, like, if this happens, we have President Biden's $15,000 for new home buyers, and it's a bill now. Now that has to go through, through Congress, to both houses, and be debated. Now, with everything I stated before, with mortgage rates going up, with home prices going up, new home buyers need this. Okay, they could use that $15,000. That'll help, again, like bringing in new home buyers into the market, because prices are going up. Even with new construction, prices are going up because wood is very expensive now to get. And they're saying, well, we don't know if it's going to go back down. Once we get the workers back in the mills, it may stay high. All right. So this help to new home buyers could be very beneficial. My prediction, for what it's worth, it's not going to be as high as 15,000. Somehow it will be debated in Congress. It may go down to what President Obama had, and it might be around 8,000. Maybe they'll go around 10,000. The point is, excuse me, some nice cold iced tea. Anything, we had a good friend of the family. He said something is always better than nothing. So if you get $8,000, that's a nice plus. Okay. For this area, 8,000 would be good. When you go up to the northern states where housing inventory is more expensive, where your basic home, your common prices are around 300,000 to 400,000, that 15,000 will be much needed. Okay, but if we get half of that, or 10,000, I think that would be very beneficial. All right, let me put up my little and see what they talked about. I could get rid of this graphic right now. Okay, and what Where do experts say the housing market is heading? So, as we enter the middle of 2021, many are wondering if we will see big changes in the housing market during the second half of the year. Here's a look at what some experts have to say. You already heard from this expert, Chris Gargiulo, associate broker for eXp Realty. Here's a look at what experts have to say about key factors that will drive the industry and the economy forward in the months to come. So Realtor.com says homes continue to sell quickly in what's normally the fastest moving time of the year. The spring and summer are the most busiest time for real estate people. This is in contrast with 2020 when homes sold slower in the spring and fastest in September and October. While we expect the fall to be competitive, this year's seasonal pattern is likely to be more normal, with homes selling fastest from roughly now until midsummer. To be honest with you, I don't even see it slowing down by midsummer because only because we are expecting. I know I am expecting the homes that were put on hold will start entering the market. So I'm predicting that we'll be busy in the fall and even around the holiday season. I don't see it slowing up. It might not be as insane as it is right now, but I still think it's going to be busy. The National Association of Realtors, sellers who have been hesitant to list homes as part of their personal health safety precautions may be more encouraged to list and show their homes with a population mostly vaccinated by the mid-year. Okay, so they're going to be they feel more comfortable, especially with more people being vaccinated. And again, to reiterate, I'm asking if you haven't been vaccinated, please do. All right, let's move this down just a little bit more. And then Daniel Hell, the chief economist at Realtor.com. Surveys show that seller confidence continued to rise in April. Extra confidence plus our recent survey finding that more homeowners than normal are planning to list their homes for sale in the next 12 months suggests that while we may not see an end to the seller's market, we might see the intensity of the competition diminish as buyers have more options to choose from. All right. So exactly what I said, this economist, I maybe they heard me first and repeated what I said, but we're basically saying the same thing here. All right, and we'll just move this down a little bit more. And this is from Freddie Mac. From Freddie Mac, we forecast that mortgage rates will continue to rise through the end of the year. We estimate that the 30-year fixed mortgage rate will average 3.4% in the fourth quarter of 2021, rising to 3.8% in the fourth quarter of 2022. So bottom line, experts are optimistic about the second half of the year. And that's from me to you. Let's connect today to talk more about the conditions in our local market. For me, it is Hampton Roads. I live in Hampton on what they call the peninsula portion of Hampton Roads, where we have Hampton, Newport News, York County. We go as far as Williamsburg. Williamsburg is basically two multiple listing services. They have their own. Williamsburg has their own multiple listing service, But the majority of the people, or the majority of the listing agents, will actually list it on both. So what's for sale in Williamsburg will show up on my MLS. Okay. So we have that here. We have Poquoson. Don't forget Poquoson. On the other side of the James River is Smithfield, Isle of Wight. Well, that's really Isle of Wight. Then you have Carrollton. There's even little smaller towns. There's Rescue. There's another one that escapes me right now. And then you have this, what we call the South Side. And that's Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Suffolk, Portsmouth. I show Norfolk is right over the water for me. It's not that far. It's only cumbersome when I show towards the later afternoon, starting around 3 o'clock, because the traffic is unreal coming back from Norfolk from there. Okay. Now, with that in mind, I'm getting a little message here, I think, but okay. On my website, I have the buyers and seller guides, and you could go to my website, to realestatewithmrg.blog/resource materials, and you could get a copy. And there's one for the, let me find it up here. There's one for the seller. Things to consider when selling your house. And we also have one for the buyer. Okay, and those are free to download. I'm not charging you a penny for that. Now, next month, I should have an updated one for June, which will be the summer of 2021 guide for buying and selling your home. Okay. And by the way, you could always search for homes on my website, realestatewithmrg.com. Okay, I have the blog. I have the .blog, realestatewithmrg.blog, with all my up-to-date articles and videos. And then we have where you could search for your homes on my website. And you could also, if you're thinking of listing your home, you click on sellers, and you will get, if you put in your address, you will get within minutes a CMA on your property, what a price range on your property. They will show you comps. I myself would like to fine tune that on myself, by myself, if you're interested in selling, because basically, that's computer generated. It's very objective. They're just looking at numbers. I myself, when I do a CMA, I'm being very exact, and making sure that your comps, like if it's a regular resale, that your comps are resales and not foreclosures or short sales. Okay, and the importance of it too is to look at the property itself to see if there's upgrades to it. How your property is different from the other one, to give you a really tight price range on your property. Okay. So, oh my goodness, I try to keep this by a half hour. I talk so much. When I start this, I say, okay, what am I going to talk about? Let me make sure I list enough things, and then I go beyond. I like to talk a lot, and I apologize. But one thing I do want to end with, it is Memorial Day weekend, and we honor those who gave them all. And in 2014, when my mother passed away, I made a video for my father, who's a World War II vet, and he's still alive. Okay, he's at a nursing home here in Hampton. He's 97 years old, but it was hard for him when he lost his wife, my mom, and I wanted to do a dedication to him. But the video is to honor all of those who gave their all for World War II, and the reason why they fought for this country and this ideal. So I'm going to end with that, and I'm not going to do anything afterwards. It's not going to be. I'm not even going to show my ending credits. All right, because I want to keep it very solemn. So please make sure you take time this weekend to honor those who gave their all. All right, and be kind to each other. All right. Remember, the greatest power we have is to love, and the greatest gift is each other. And I'll see you next Saturday. My dad is a veteran of World War II. Dad was born in Brooklyn, New York, and was a late teen when Pearl Harbor was bombed and the United States entered the war. As the draft began, many young men were torn from their homes, from the farms of the country, and the streets of the cities to fight. My father answered his call, an American soldier of Italian descent, fought in World War II and was later stationed in Germany, where he met Susanna Hannebauer, who was born there. They fell in love, and many months after the war, they were married in the United States. Their marriage lasting 66 years, until Mom's death last January. Through the years, my father never talked about battles nor fighting the enemy. The only wartime stories Dad told us was when he met Mom and their adventures together. His medals were kept in a plain box. He never boasted about them. He never went into detail about why he received them, and I nor my sister even bothered him for an answer. We respected his quiet reticence, as if that silence was honor and allegiance itself. So for this Memorial Day and those after, I pray for all soldiers who have perished during combat, who fought for a country that believes in individual freedom and rights, a country that cares for the less fortunate, a country that welcomes those who are persecuted. And I pray that there will be a time when we speak of war no more. Thank you, Dad.